Welcome to the third episode of building the Cozy Strakes. Hopefully this has been useful for you if you're building a cozy or if you're just interested in experimental airplanes. We're working now on the bottom skins. Skins were originally cut out by the first builder, and I think I'm going to modify them a little bit. I'm going to extend the front a little bit so that I have the ability to curve it up like I did on the top skins, curving down. Going to need a little bit more foam in order to make that bend to come up to, you know, kind of the halfway point here, or the, you know, sort of the peak of the airfoil shape. As well as the outboard edge here, I think you'll see we're going to want to curve this up, so we'll need to add some foam out here to the edge. Interesting thing that the original builder did is he actually initially tacked these two sheets together with just a little bit of hot glue, like a couple of dabs, which is interesting because then maybe I can do the bonding of the skins of the foam together and the skins together in one step instead of two. Think about that. Is it worth it? We'll see. Quick little infrastructure project here. This temporary table that I had set up was fine for what I was using for, but now my really more flat table, that one, is being used to support the underside of the skin. So in order to laminate really reasonably well, I need to make this more flatter and more stiffer. So you know, it's one of those things. They're like, oh, it takes 2,000 hours to build this thing, but that doesn't include all stuff like this. I'm sure, and I'm like, oh, this will just take me 10 minutes. I'm sure it's going to take me over an hour to get this done. Let's see. So not an hour, and certainly not perfectly flat, but I think good enough for what we need to do next. Really was just checking sort of how the back lined up. I think this is looking better than the top skins. Did the hat sections on the left side so we can then paint on some fuel sealant. Been a little bit of a slow couple of days because we've been doing some research to figure out what else we got to think about before we really get too far into this. So a couple things we learned was we should be putting our fuel sensor here. So I've got a couple of the flanges for that on order, and a couple of the fuel sender probes, which we're going to use the float resistor type. What else? We need to think about how to vent. So we're going to need to run a vent line from the top of the front corner here and the back or middle or both corners up over to the top, so that when you're in a climb, the fuel's not going to drain out of the tank. We also need to figure out how to ground the tank. The plans have you ground the tank just using a piece of wire, basically on the fuel cap, and when you're refilling, you're supposed to connect your grounding wire to that fuel cap wire, and it's a little hokey. Just a piece of copper wire from the front, again, the front corner, along the bottom, and then up the back, and then we'll exit the fuel tank, and eventually we'll connect that copper wire to the vehicle ground, so that somebody comes up and just clips the grounding wire to the exhaust pipe like they're used to doing. It'll ground the fuel tanks just fine. Bottom right skin after laminating. PR 1422 applied to the top. Took 100 grams of the Part A to do this. Smells just as good as I recall. Gonna put it away somewhere where it can cure for apparently 14 days. Dry fitting the bottom skin, mostly so I can just mark where the skin meets up against the fuselage, because I got to cut out the baggage holes. I over trimmed this again. And under trimmed over on that side again. You'd think I'd learn, but not. Cutting the holes for the baggage compartments. Right angle tools. Made short work of cutting our end point holes. Right side baggage holes roughed out. I'm not going to clean these up until get the skins bonded in. This went surprisingly quickly, which hopefully doesn't mean that I did something wrong. But I think I'm going to go ahead and bond the right skin on. You can see all the little pieces of foam I've got underneath here just to push it up on the bottom as much as I can and really make sure all of it fits as well as it can. One thing I wanted to show you was over here we're going to need to put a hole here for the fuel sender probe. Here's the resistive fuel level sending probe from Summit Racing. They used to make a left and a right, but I don't think that's really necessary. This is the empty position and the full position, and we'll mount one there and one there, so I really don't see that we need a left and right. Bonding the right skin in with fillets and flocks. I did this chamber and this chamber and this chamber yesterday, and then this one and this one today. And I'm going to let all this cure before trying to bend this part up more, because it has a tendency to pop things out. True confessions time. I found a bubble right in here, right there. There's a bubble right there, so we'll have to grind that out and fix that. These tapes here, filled in that, and we laminated in this crack, and even more tediously down in here as well. So yeah, I think we're all done with laminating the inside of the bottom on one side, I hope. On the left side for bonding the bottom skin, starting by getting the baggage holes cut, and I'm going to do that, and then we're also going to put the fuel sender probe hole over here before we bond. Fuel sender installation, right side. Here's the clamping setup for the sensor ring. Pretty simple. Really should have done this before we installed these. Would have been much better to have done it when it was out of the airplane. Here's our technique for glassing the inside of the fuel sender mounts. And here's what it wound up looking like. Just how much of systems work there actually is in the Strakes and the fuel system. So just all the little things that you've got to. I was sort of just thinking it was just, you know, the laminating and the structural part and building the tanks, but you know, all the pieces of the fuel system, you know, are obviously largely in the Strakes. So static bonding, got to think about that. Venting in multiple attitudes of flight and storage. Fuel level sensing. Obviously fuel tank integrity and sealant. Refilling. So you know, caps and all of that. So and then also the Strakes, you know, is a good spot for the outboard section here is a good spot for either lights or magnetometers and things like that. So you know, just a lot going on in the Strakes that you know, maybe when I'm looking at it, you're just thinking, oh, that's just, you know, it's a lot of bonding and structural stuff. It's actually also a lot of systems work. So kind of building that into your list of things that you got to prep for and then work on as you're doing it. So just something to keep aware. Today we're going to laminate the front section and that back corner and the sides over here. Spent yesterday prepping. Yeah, that's let's see, what else did we get done? We opened up these holes here. Another task we kind of got done is we got our vent tubing bent. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to straighten tubing and straighten copper wire. Copper wire is going to be our static ground system for inside the tanks. We've got to locate the sump in order to figure out where to drill this 1.25 inch hole between the main tank and the sump tank. A little bit of discussion on the forums on how that goes. But pretty much this whole underside area gets filled in with foam to blend. So we can kind of put this wherever we want, I think. The plans show it all the way back here, but then you've got this sort of weird cutout with the foam that I guess is for structural purposes. So we're gonna just do it right like that. 3 holes we gotta drill. We need a fuel take up or outlet, a fuel return in case we do a future fuel injection system that requires fuel return. We won't have to retrofit, so we'll just do that and plug it up. And then a hole from the top, from the main tank down into the sump. We just traced the bottom profile or side profile onto just a piece of cardboard. And now we can use that here and here so we know where to drill our holes. These fuel filter domes came out pretty well. Prepping the bottom for the fuel tank to sump hole. This is the clamping situation for these. And this hole looks like, or this layup looked like it came out pretty well. We'll drill out the hole there and then fit those domes on. So this is a pretty good milestone. We got the left top skin fitted along with the bottom skins already in place. It's looking pretty good. Let's take a look. So you can see I've got like a 1/4 inch gap here between the top skin and the bottom skin, which honestly I designed for or wanted sanded to so that I can make really sure that the top skin is completely against the bulkheads and not up against this lip here. Once it's all bonded together, this is a void anyway, so we'll just stick a slice of foam in there and sand it to fit. So this cardboard profile is the same profile as the root of the wing, and it matches there and here at the 33 bulkhead. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this is looking at this point. Took a few hours to get here for sure. We got to do the other side, but yeah, as I said, I think it's a pretty great milestone. True confessions time. I should have checked the wing incidence. I had, and I was showing up of 1/2 degree. And I should have gone in and really studied the plans to figure out exactly what the wing incidence is supposed to be. It's supposed to be 0 relative to the longerons. And so when I changed the wing incidence with my jack here and got it to 0, and that caused a little mismatch here in the front. Not surprisingly, we had the front go down a little bit, and the leading edge goes down, and so there's a little bit of a mismatch here. And I assume it's going to be the same on the other side. So what I'm going to need to do is sand a little bit here on the end, and there'll be a gap underneath that I'll need to fill later. Just to be sure, I checked this piece that had been glued on with the templates, and these two match. So yeah, should have checked that much earlier in the process before I put in the end bulkheads. I did check it, but I should have really studied what it was supposed to have been, and would save me a little bit of sanding. But anyway, I'm a little hesitant to make any changes because you know, some of this stuff will get tweaked again a little bit later, perhaps. But I think the best thing to do is get it as right as we can get it now, and that'll probably save us a little bit of work in the future. So wings taken off so that we could pull the aluminum rods out of here. So we've got to finish getting these holes closed out. We've got to build the outer diagonal bulkhead. This morning I'm just going through and sanding all of this area to a dull finish, so it's getting ready for bonding. You know, other people have put back in the other step when we were doing those fillets from underneath. Other people have put peel ply. So it'd be you know, the top skin, and then packaging tape, and then peel ply, and then we're able to peel ply over that. You know, laminating upside down is frustrating enough, and then having the loose peel ply underneath there, I would have probably just set me over the edge. So I think maybe if I were doing a bunch of these, I would come up with a better way to attach that peel ply upside down, so I wouldn't have to spend I don't know, a couple 3 hours sanding all this stuff down to a dull finish for bonding. But anyway, something to think about if you're following in my footsteps. You know, anything that has not been peel plied, sanding down to a dull finish. It looks like Jim over time switched to really making sure that everything was peel plied on the outer surface. Like if you feel the outer surface of the wings, these are not super slick. They look like they all feel like they've been peel plied. So that's going to help a lot when we get down to the finishing step. But the fuselage, I don't know how well you can see the gloss here, but the whole fuselage is super glossy. So that's going to need a fair amount of hand sanding before we can do the filleting or do the filling. Let's see. Yeah, we've still got a lot of systems work to get done. We'll see how much progress we're able to make before we're out of here in late September. So we got the cardboard template for the outer diagonal bulkhead shaped more or less, and we'll use that with the outer bulkhead and cut those and then sand them in to fit, and then glass those in. So this is the GMU 11. We got to get that into the outboard. Here's a piece of cardboard that is the dimensions of the width of that thing and the length plus the connector, and it has to sit in one of the three cardinal directions, or two rather, either this way or this way, in relation to the direction of travel. So I think we're going to wind up putting it right here. And really the question is going to be, how do we access that to do maintenance on it? So without building a hatch is what I would prefer to do. Is I'd rather just have the access be from the end, because in my experience, once you get those GMUs in, they're there for a long time. So I don't really think we need a lot of maintenance, but we're going to need at least a little bit. So I have to think about how to do this platform so that I can mount the device in there and secure it with one hand and not a lot of space. Got a few things done. I got this bulkhead tacked in. We'll need to add some more. Flocks and tape to that, of course. These three holes plugged up. We put a little foam on the front leading edge here in this gap. We're going to sand that down and then bond the top skin on. We don't have to, use so much flocks and epoxy, which is heavy, and I'm not really sure is actually going to add that much strength in that area. And make a quick little repair on this. Actually, when I cut this lightning hole, I cut it half-inch too diameter, a little bit too big, and so the result was the here was about a quarter of an inch less than what's on the plan, so I just added another layer of glass on both sides. I think that's going to mitigate that issue, no problem. So we got the diagonals bonded in on both sides. Holes here and here and up here in the front, so we can run some conduit for future needs. Making progress on painting the fuel tank sealant in. This stuff is got an interesting texture. It is not easy to do what I would say is a professional job with this stuff. I'm not really sure the right application. PPG is not really forthcoming with the right ways to apply this stuff, and using a short chip brush, cut bristles short chip brush, and I think I'm gonna have to put a second coat on a lot of places. Anyway, if anybody's got a better way to apply this, I don't think a roller, unless it's a specifically designed for this material, is a good plan either. I think it would just stick up. It's got a super high viscosity. It's just a pain to work with, and it has a lovely sulfur smell. Well, we just got done with applying the first coat of fuel tank sealant to both sides. Sort of lost the plot on this whole situation, and really wasn't applying it thinly enough. So a little, not short, but definitely right close to being short, I think. So we'll go ahead and touch it up again tomorrow and dwell on it a little bit and see if we actually need to get another can and do a second coat or not. Just think about it for a bit. I wish I could share with you the fine smell that accompanies this product, and it sort of smells like pencil erasers that have been lit on fire, and has a lovely 14-day cure time. So we'll be smelling that for a while. Anyway, hopefully we're pretty much done with this step and can move on to some other things. I think we're going to end the video here. Next video will be on really just putting this rest of the systems inside of the Strakes, and potentially getting the top skins bonded on. We'll see how far we get before we finish up here at the end of the month. I'll smash some Supercub video here at the end from a trip I took, I guess 3 weeks ago now, back to the Idaho backcountry Root Ranch. It was super fun, challenging, good trip. And as always, I'm doing this for friends and family, but if you like this video and content, like and subscribe, and gives me an incentive to do more. Thanks. Build on.
Went to stay, but my heart's a kite. Clouds are laughing at my nervous flight. The ground's a whisper I can't quite hear. The runway's closed, but it feels so near. Touchdown, touchdown, not so smooth. Puppy love, yeah, I lost my groove. Touchdown, touchdown, oh what a ride. Spitting sideways, but I'm still alive. Sun is winking like it's in on a joke. Wheels are screaming, puffing out smoke. The earth hugs tight, says welcome back, but my pride's unpacking a different track. Every pilot has a day when smooth landings slip away. Touchdown, touchdown, not so smooth. Puppy love, yeah, I lost my groove. Touchdown, touchdown, oh what a ride. Skidding sideways, but I'm still alive. Sun is winking like it's in on a joke. Wheels are screaming, puffing out smoke. The earth hugs tight, says welcome back, but my pride's unpacking a different track. Every pilot has a day when smooth landings slip away. Touchdown, touchdown, not so clean. A wobbly dance with grace and seam. Touchdown, touchdown, we made it through. Shaky skies, but we pulled it true.
Clouds like cotton drift and sway. Sunlight paints the jagged gray. I'm chasing peaks where eagles stray. Throttle hums the only song. Sky's my map, it pulls me along. Skyline wings that cut the air, dancing high without a care. Mountains whisper, fly on, fly on. Winds are fickle, they shift, they play. Trees below a green ballet. The valley's calling, but I delay. The engine's purr, it holds my hand. Above the world I understand. Skyline wings, they cut the air, dancing high without a care. Mountains whisper, fly on, fly on. Winds are fickle, they shift, they play. Trees below a green ballet. The valley's calling, but I delay. The engine's purr, it holds my hand. Above the world I understand. Skyline wings, they cut the air, dancing high without a care. Mountains whisper, fly on, fly on. Kicks up, wings catch the air. Bush plane rattles like it just don't care. Sky opens wide like a preacher's prayer. Flying home to my beautiful girl and a curly dog. Flying home, through the clouds, through the fall. The elk camps fading, trees turn to specks. Cigarette smoke still on my neck. Her smile's the horizon, her love's my check. Propeller spins fast, her heart beats the same. The pull of the earth and the pull of her name. Flying home to my beautiful girl and a curly dog. Flying home, through the clouds, through the fall. Propeller spins fast, her heart beats the same. The pull of the earth and the pull of her name. Like the wind in my ears, guitar moans low, like the weight of the years. The plane cuts the blue, slicing through my fears. Flying home to my beautiful girl and a curly dog. Flying home, through the clouds, through the fall.